very good afternoon to all of you. Today we are going to study the anatomy of larynx. We'll study the gross features, plus we will study some few points on the inlet of larynx. So beginning first with the gross part of the larynx region. So first of all, what we can see over here, the vertical section, this one organ is tongue. So this one is tongue, which we can see. And this anterior surface, as we descend down, there are few suprahyoid muscles, and the suprahyoid muscles, after that, the very important prominence which we can see is the thyroid prominence. So this represents that this is the thyroid cartilage. Now the anterior border or the upper aspect of the thyroid cartilage remains unfused. So this above the thyroid prominence, there is a notch which is called as thyroid notch. Now the muscles which are below this thyroid cartilage, they are called as strap muscles or infrahyoid muscles. So we can see over here few infrahyoid muscles. Further below, if we see, this is an important gland which is thyroid gland. So this gland is a thyroid gland. We can see two lobes, right lobe, left lobe, and in between is the isthmus. So this is about the gross external features which we are seeing right now. After that, over here if we see, this one is the base of tongue or the root of tongue. This over here we can see circumvallate papillae. A few of them are the circumvallate papillae. Now this we have sulcus terminalis, and this one is anterior 2/3 of the tongue, posterior 1/3 of the tongue, posterior most part of the tongue. So posterior most part of the tongue, posterior 1/3, and anterior 2/3 part of the tongue, which we can see. Now this tongue or the oral cavity further is below is separated, and this leaf-like cartilage, which is elastic in nature, is called as epiglottis. So this is called as epiglottis, and it is guarded or it is attached to the tongue through a fold in the medially present. This fold is called as median glossoepiglottic fold. So this fold is, I hope you can see it clearly. This one fold is median glossoepiglottic fold. This fold. So this is median glossoepiglottic fold. On lateral sides we have lateral glossoepiglottic folds. So this is median, and these two are lateral glossoepiglottic folds. After I pull this epiglottis, now I will go and see the internal aspect of the larynx. So let me remove the cartilage from the posterior aspect. I have cut to see the interior aspect. So this one is the interior aspect of the larynx, which you can see. See, this one is the interior aspect. This one over here, interior of the larynx. So how to demarcate few points? This is the called as ventricle of larynx, and the ventricle of the larynx above is guarded by a fold which is called as vestibular fold, and below is guarded by vocal fold. So this in between, this space is called as ventricle. The ventricle on the lateral side will project into a sac-like projection which is called as saccule. So over here we have a projection which is called as saccule on the lateral side. On either aspects, these are the vestibular fold, these are the vocal folds, in between is the ventricle. Now above the vestibular fold, over here we can see a membrane which is quadrate in nature. This membrane is called as quadrate membrane. So this membrane is called as quadrate membrane. Now below the vocal fold, this one is a vocal fold, and this another membrane which is going downwards is called as conus elasticus. So this membrane is conus elasticus, which is further descending and going downwards, and this is whole the cavity of the larynx, which will further continue as trachea. So this part is now trachea. So overall the larynx in males is about 44 millimeter in length, and in females it is just about 36 millimeter in length. Now this one, the space between the vestibular folds, these are the two vestibular folds on the right as well as on the left side, and this space over here is called as rima vestibuli. So this space is called as rima vestibuli, whereas the space between the two vocal folds is called as rima glottidis. So this is called as rima glottidis. So overall this region of where the folds are present divides the larynx larynx into three parts. One which lies above the glottis is called as supraglottis. So this is called as supraglottis. One which lies below this cavity is called as infraglottis. This is called as infraglottis, below the level of these vocal folds. And which lies at the level of vocal folds is called as glottis. Which lies at the level of vocal folds is called as glottis. And now the glottis holds this region, or the region of the vocal folds act as a watershed, which means that the lymphatic drainage above this region will drain into the upper chain of the deep cervical lymph nodes, whereas the lymphatic drainage below this level of vocal folds will drain into the lower chain of deep cervical nodes or the supraclavicular nodes. So it acts as a watershed. And further, that above this region up to the level of vocal folds, the nerve supply is, the sensory innervation is taken up by the internal laryngeal nerve. Internal laryngeal nerve will give the sensory innervation up to the level of vocal folds. Whereas below the level of vocal folds, the whole sensory innervation is taken by the recurrent laryngeal nerve. So that is a little bit about the anatomy of larynx. Thank you.